This month on Movies Are the Future, the Terminator franchise has officially been terminated. Joker is the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Wow, Keen. Nocturnal Animals is a film that everybody should see. And Stephen King is fucking rad. This is your ultimate film-obsessed podcast experience, a show that will finally prove that movies are the future. Title sequence.
The future.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 10 of Movies Are the Future, which is not, I think we've probably done like 17 or something of these, but like, wow, 10 is such a milestone. So thank you guys for tuning in and keeping this show alive. Speaking of keeping the show alive, Heath is back.
Yay!
In his fourth appearance?
I've lost count.
That's right, and as we should, because we should be getting you on the podcast. We should just clone you and have a full Heath podcast.
I like to sound that a lot.
It would certainly blow up the comment section. Speaking of comment sections, whoever has the sexiest piece of Heath commentary this episode gets a date with Heath. Ash, you better get on that. Anyways, if you're new to Movies Are the Future and you're like, what the fuck's going on? We are essentially a collaboration between... Oh my lord! This episode is off the rails.
Oh man, where'd the bit go?
I can't wait to edit this.
Look, I'm just gonna keep powering on.
Your foot.
Just wait. Holy fuck!
Oh. Jesus Christ.
This is a collaboration between the Slopshack, which is a cool little media company in Brisbane, Australia, that brings different content creators together in collaborative ways, and Movies of the Future, which is the biggest internet movie news review page on Instagram.
Or at least it should
today. 50, be their 69,000th follower. And essentially today we're going to be breaking down the biggest releases and news from October of 2019. So that's gonna be great. We're gonna be talking about a bit about our topic of the month, which is Stephen King, because he is basically taken over the world of film this year with 4 releases. I think 4 theatrical, unless you count In the Tall Grass and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, we're gonna jump straight into it. I'm gonna shut up. It's time for What's Out, folks.
Ooh. Graphics. So, we're going to be talking about a movie that just came out last night that myself, Harry and Declan saw, Dr. Sleep. This was a pretty anticipated movie for this year. Sequel to The Shining. What did you guys think of it?
Everyone looks at me. Well, I gotta preface it. I'm definitely biased to like this movie because I'm a huge Mike Flanagan fan. I've seen all of his movies multiple times. I've done essays on him. I follow him everywhere. The guy is incredible. We were talking about last night. Not literally. But Mike, if you're watching, I definitely have
The fanatic.
we were talking about he's probably the 5th busiest man in Hollywood. We got to keep the rankings going.
Yeah,
no matter what,
we're up to number 5 now.
Number 5 or something. To Phil Heath, and I think number 1 is like
Kevin, isn't it?
Kevin
Feige.
And then there's like Taika, and then there's John Favreau, and then
Dwayne Johnson.
Tom Holland.
No, I don't know. So I think Mike's got to be at least number 5, if not number 4. And so I love all of his work. I'm a huge fan of Stephen King, obviously, which is why we're going to be talking about Stephen King's Topic of the Month. So we'll talk more about Dr. Sleep, I guess, then. But huge fan, read heaps of the books, seen heaps of the movies, and then obviously Kubrick. Kubrick is incredible. The Shining, one of those classic, like for film students like us, and even non-film students, it's just one of those classic, like you watch it and there's all the conspiracy theories and it's just years and years of appreciation and documentation and stuff like that. So classic. So for me, Dr. Sleep worked really, really well because it took King's issues with the original Shining movie, which were particularly based around the character of Jack and the character of Wendy and at the ending of the film, and they brought that over into this one, which is a pretty straight adaptation of the Dr. Sleep book, pretty much scene for scene until the ending, because obviously the ending of the Shining book is very different than the ending of the movie, in which the movie ends, spoiler alert for The Shining, the Overlook Hotel is still there. It's just frozen up in the hills. So obviously, if you've seen any of the trailers, you know that Danny ends up going back to the Overlook Hotel itself, which is new material, not in the book. So I think the movie was incredible for a fan like me because it took so many of the great things from the books and the movies and just found the perfect relationship between them that will satisfy King fans and Kubrick fans and new fans. So yeah, but I'm interested to see what people who don't really care about these things thought about the pacing.
Well, I've always loved The Shining, especially breaking down all like the theories and that behind all the little Easter eggs and that in it. As for Dr. Sleep, we talked about it after the movie. I found like the first 30 minutes to an hour was a bit slow. Like they were sort of catching us up on what happened in the first film in a way, and catching us up with the lore of like The Shining and all this stuff with like the villains and that, sort of setting it up. And it's only, I found like an hour in where I was like, okay, now we know what's happening, and now the movie's starting. And so like the stuff at the start was really necessary, but I kind of wish he found a different way to like just do it a bit quicker or something.
I feel like there's a...
Because once it started, it's really good.
I feel like there's a sleep pun to be made in there, you know, about the first hour or something, but yeah, that makes sense.
But and I love Ewan McGregor, so
No, that's fair. As someone that just saw The Shining like yesterday before I saw Doctor Sleep, I don't have like that much of a detachment to The Shining. It's a really good movie, so I feel like watching Doctor Sleep, there's a lot of things in there that obviously it's a sequel, but things that just tie into here. You can see it. You're like, oh, that's from the Shining, and yeah, like I agree with Declan. Like the first hour or so, I was like, all right, so it's necessary, but I wish it went along faster. But when it picks up, it really picks up. It's really intense, and just it's a really good movie. It had me gripped. So yeah.
Does it hold a candle to the original? Does it hold a candle to The Shining at all? As in, is it not so much like a worthy sequel, but is it anywhere close to like the masterpiece?
See, a lot of the criticism that I've seen has been people saying it's nowhere near as good as The Shining. It's almost like sort of a different genre than The Shining for most of the movie, and like people giving it comparisons. And like if you've read the book, you know that Doctor Sleep is just not The Shining. Like it's a very different kind of story with far more, like The Shining is just like you're in the hotel with these characters and you're just watching them go crazy, whereas Doctor Sleep it's spanning tons of towns, it's going cross country, it's dealing with just dozens of characters all around the place and really getting into the lore of the world. And so I honestly didn't think the movie was that scary.
No.
So it's far more of a sort of a psychological thriller almost.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just all about expectation of not wanting something that is like, oh, it's just as good, it's better than The Shining, like in the way that Blade Runner was like improving on some of the genre stuff from the first Blade Runner. But I think you just have to go into it being like, it's not going to really be a horror movie. It's just a really good, nostalgic, psychological thriller.
Sweet as.
Yeah. Moving on to a very disappointing movie, Terminator Dark Fate. I know that I was looking forward to it, Declan was looking forward to it, Harry was looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, I was super keen.
Were you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I love Terminator. So.
Yeah. So, it hurts me to say that it fell really flat.
Da-na-na. Na-na-na.
Yeah, just...
It wasn't very good.
No.
Who wants to go first?
Well, when we finished the movie, I walked out like, I really liked this movie. It was awesome. Mainly because like the last half an hour was pretty awesome. So, well, yeah.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
You actually fell asleep?
Yep.
I don't know what happened in the last 30... No, more like 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah, I'd say.
Damn.
So I found it fun, and we saw it with Curtis.
Yeah.
And he also thought it was really cool, the end. But then stuff happens at the start that kind of, or not kind of, it does.
It's weird that the biggest spoiler in the movie is the first thing that you see. And it's like...
because it's new, we won't spoil it, but it shits on Terminator 1 and 2 for no reason. It does.
Just makes the other two feel redundant.
and I kind of forgot about it because I was just enjoying the movie I was watching. But then in hindsight, I was like, oh wait, no, that's horrible.
Yeah.
So that's obviously a big aspect that affects the movie and new characters, but it was an entertaining film. So it was definitely not a good movie, but it was definitely a lot more entertaining than Terminator 3, 4, and 5. By far, I thought.
I think Salvation's better than this.
I haven't seen that probably since it came out, so
Fair enough.
but I'll believe you.
Cool.
So before you fell asleep, were there any things that you liked?
I thought Mackenzie Davis was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. Then the Hamilton was awesome.
Yeah.
The action was cool, but like some of the special effects were really bad at points. Like in the factory and the highway chase, I thought some of those just
100%.
looked like, and the Rev 9 looked really plasticky.
Yeah.
And like maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know, but like every close up on him just looks like a de-aging technology. It looks like that, and it just really took me out. I'm like, why does he look like he looks so smooth? But yeah. Obviously problem with the thing that happens at the start. Yeah. And it's like, I would have been fine if there was a reason for this to happen. Like if they had a solid, this 100%. Needed to happen for the rest of the movie, fine. But like, it offered nothing to the movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first point you make about this, the VFX, I think like they used so much of it. Tim Miller was started in the VFX world, like how he got into this. So I was kind of weirded out that it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And I think that what I was watching the movie, I was like, this just doesn't feel as like authentic as Terminator 2. And you think about Terminator 2, the only visual effects in that movie is the T-1000, and it still holds up because they use it so rarely, and they play within the confines of what can look good. Whereas this movie is just like everything is CGI, and it's just it doesn't feel gritty or like real. It just feels kind of fake, and so I wish that they had just gone like the T2 route and just like done it all practical, like Chris Nolan, like just been like, I mean, it might have cost more, but I don't think like, I think it just would have looked better and I would have been more engaged, So they had some cool ideas, but it just, the execution of it was just kind of sloppy. Yeah.
I think that this, like, I've been a bit like coy about this movie, like, oh, it's like, I didn't like it, it's fine. I think it was like, I'm gonna come out as a colossal waste of time. I think there is nothing in this movie that is not done better by T1 or T2. There's nothing new here. There's nothing like exciting. Like you were saying, like you like pretty much. You said you liked most of the characters. You said. Yeah. I think like I forgot her name. I forgot what the actress's name is, but Grace, the character of Grace,
Mackenzie Davis.
Yeah. I think she's like, I really liked her character, so she's like the only one that I really liked. I think everybody else. Like, Arnold's not fun, I think, at least. I thought it was kind of cool when
There's one joke that's fun.
Yeah.
That's it.
I, like, sort of liked him. I thought, like, Sarah Connor's better in T2. Like, she's not... Like, she's so badass now. Look at her big gun when she walks into the frame. Wow. But she's way better in T2. She's a much better character. And like you were saying, T2 just looks better. How does a movie from the 90s... look better than a movie from 2019.
100%.
Yeah, there's nothing here that's new. It just felt lazy to me. It's
for a movie they hyped up, it's the direct sequel, it's the story, and then it's like...
And I think I was just mad from the first 5 minutes.
I agree. It just sets you off on like a bad first impression where you're just like, what? And then I was like, they're gonna like redo, like there's something's gonna happen where they're gonna change. No, they commit to it, and they commit to what that means for the world. And unfortunately, there's some cool ideas about what that means, but ultimately, it just feels like a waste of time.
Yeah.
Should have just left it at the end of Genesis. Well, I don't know. I did like some, like, I don't know. I don't know if
I would rather this be the last. I would rather this be the conclusion.
Yeah.
Where they tried, at least they tried one more time. Oh, well.
What a dud.
Because Genesis sucks.
Yeah.
Time to lower it into the lava. What's next?
Next up is another sequel, Zombieland Double Tap. 10 years after the first one.
I actually saw this, weirdly enough. Didn't expect to. Have any of you guys seen it?
Yes,
we all saw it.
Oh, cool.
What do we think of the first Zombieland?
I thought it was overrated.
I like it, but I think it's severely overrated.
Haven't seen it since like 2015. So
Okay.
I haven't seen it for ages. I hardly remember it, but I remember like being young and thinking like, yeah, this is so cool because it's a bit raunchy and a bit out there. So.
Okay. Now double tap.
it just felt like they ran out of ideas like midway through. So they're like, you know, it'd be funny if they meet the exact versions of themselves. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, what is going on? Like, why?
I think I can kind of speak for Drag myself, where it's like, we know it's a bad movie, but we were able to like turn our brains off and just enjoy it for what it was to an extent.
Yeah, like it was definitely so stupid, and sometimes it felt a bit boring. But there were some fun moments that I had with the movie. But I don't think Heath agrees with that.
Of every movie I've seen this year, this is the worst film of the year.
Wow.
I hate this movie with a passion.
Why is every next movie the worst?
No. Dark Fate wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. This isn't the worst movie I've ever seen. But I reckon, in my opinion, there is nothing worse than a bad comedy film. Because a bad action movie, you can laugh at how like much of a failure it is. Watching people try to make you laugh and failing horribly is one of the most uncomfortable things ever.
100%.
And I did not laugh one time. I smiled once, and that's it.
That was when the credits were.
Fine, I smiled twice. But like,
I think the best scene in the movie is the like post credits scene. Like 100%.
I hated. That was my least favorite scene in the movie because it wasn't over yet. Like when I was like, all right, it's done. I got up, and then that started. I was like, oh my god, it won't end.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, it just, why does it exist is my question. Like,
It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's a very dumb movie.
I'm very angry now. I'm just thinking about it, mad. Yeah.
Well, I hope this kind of warms your heart. The next movie, Blinded by the Light, movie that I was really looking forward to. I saw it with Heath, Declan, and Curtis. What did you guys think of it?
I really enjoyed it. It's one of those, you know, it's pretty cliche for its genre, but it was just a heartwarming type. One of those movies. You know what I mean. But yeah, and all the acting was good. Liked all the characters. Just a nice little movie.
Yeah.
Between all the Terminators and Zombieland.
Yeah, I reckon like I love movies like this after like we've seen, especially stuff like Endgame came out this year. Like you see all your Marvel movies, you see your big CGI movies. I really like these little wholesome movies about like one dude, you know, in like just doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I really liked this movie. The more I think about it, the more I just feel it was really quite special. Even though it doesn't do anything new,
Yeah.
it just felt special this year. I was like, oh, it's quite nice. I recommend seeing it.
It really caught me off guard. There wasn't that much music in it for what I thought. Like, because it really hyped up the Bruce Springsteen aspect of the movie, which I kind of like how they used the song sparingly, but like I kind of expected more music, and I really liked it, but the first act or something kind of felt really slow to me. I don't know if that was
the
just
pacing
me.
was a bit weird.
Yeah.
At times I was like, whoa.
Or it was
this has
like,
been
you know, when
for
they were
a
running
while.
around the city, like that sort of part of the movie, I was like, okay.
Well, I thought oh, this is gonna be like the end of the movie. They're gonna like
Yeah.
run up onto the hill and be like, yeah, we're free.
But
and
no,
then
there's like another
it's
act.
over. Yeah, and there's still
Yeah.
like another 40 minutes. I was like, oh,
Yeah. But yeah, nonetheless, everyone was really good in it. It was really funny too. It was a lot of funny moments in the movie. And it was just really wholesome. So yeah.
made me feel good.
Moving on to Netflix's The King, which I did not see.
I think only Declan's seen
me
it.
neither.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I know Alex Falconer has seen it, so Alex said it was great.
And we're back to Declan catching up on his Netflix.
Well, I thought it was okay. It's
Fuck you, Alex. Shut up.
I thought all the acting was good. Timothy Chalamet was really good. Joel Edgerton, that Robert Pattinson with a weird French accent.
That's right, he's
we're all
in
with
it.
it.
Robert.
Batman.
Yeah.
The first hour is just really slow. Nothing really happens, and then the last act, sort of the big battle. It's pretty predictable, and I don't know. It's stock standard medieval type of. A bit better than stock standard, but it was just missing something. It's one of those movies where you're like, it was fine, but I don't know why I don't like it more. Like all the acting was good, the cinematography was good.
It just didn't
it
click.
was just
Yeah.
missing something, and yeah, it just didn't click. It's a good way of putting it.
Here's my shout out. Timothy Chalamet, Robin.
Yes.
Yeah? How are you feeling about that?
I think that'd be easy. That was so good.
Okay.
I dig it.
He looks exactly like Teen Titans Robin.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then you can watch it like as he gets older, you know. I like this.
Very sweet ass.
nice.
Now I'm just thinking about the Batman. And now I'm just.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Another movie that I also saw, and I think Heath saw this too. Ready or Not. This came out a while ago in the US, and we got it pretty late. I watched like the trailer to this once, and it felt like it could be really good and like take itself not too seriously, or it could be very bad. And I really liked it. I had a lot of fun in this movie. It was a dark comedy. It made me laugh quite a few times, and it was just super over the top, like violent. It was a really fun movie. So
Is it
yeah.
more violent than Rambo: Last Blood?
Oh, well, you haven't seen it. Yeah, I think it is.
Can't judge.
I think it's way more violent than Rainbow.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Damn, that's a
I don't have to see Rambo now.
yeah.
I need to see Ready or Not.
I went into this movie because I said before that there's nothing worse than a bad comedy, but bad horror movies are pretty fun. Like they can be quite good. And so I went into this movie. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna have a bit of fun. This looks garbage. I'm really excited, but I was actually pleasantly surprised. I walked out of it because like it markets itself as a horror movie, but it's a lot more of a dark comedy. If anything, like it's a bit of a thriller, but it's actually like quite funny. And at the start, it really got me because there's like a horror scene. And they're all cracking jokes about it. And I was like, oh, well, this is really a conflict of tone. But it's, I don't know, after it goes on a bit, you start to realize, oh, this is actually just a comedy
It
movie.
was really intense at points too. Like I remember there was this one scene that I was like, shit. And and everyone was really good. I liked what's his name? Adam Brody. Adam Brody's in it.
From
He played-
King Kong?
He
guy?
played Freddy Shazam.
No, right. I'm thinking of Adrian Brody.
Oh yeah, Adam.
Oh, he's the brother in the movie.
Yeah,
right?
he's the brother. He was
awesome.
really good. Samara Weaving, like lead role, she was really good. She looks a lot like Margot Robbie.
I thought that at the start.
I thought it was
wait a
her,
minute,
yeah.
who is
Yeah,
this?
whenever I see the poster for this movie,
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think it's
when
Margot Robbie.
who is she in this movie?
Yeah, but yeah, just it was a really good movie.
Cool. Okay.
And lastly, In the Tall Grass.
Oh, there's no review. There's just shit and it's boring. Don't watch it. It's
Sweet.
a waste of your time. It's like 2 hours long. It's just bad. Don't watch it.
Go and read anything else by Stephen King and Joe Hill.
Yeah,
Joe Hill being his son. He and his son write books together. And
That's-
his other son.
that's
him,
wholesome.
him and all his kids. And his wife's a writer. The whole family. We'll get to it later.
nice. And that wraps it up for What's Up, folks.
It's time to look at the flashback to 10 years ago, 2009. We missed this in the last episode, which is probably good because we were going over time. So I'm going to quickly bust through the films from September of 2009, starting off with Carriers, which is a film with Chris Pine, post-apocalyptic film. You might not remember this.
No.
Has Emily Van Camp. It's kind of weird. All right, let's go to the next one. Extract. Jason Bateman, Ben Affleck.
I think
Mila
I've seen
Kunis,
like a
Kristen
poster.
Wiig. It seems one
I've
of
seen a
them
poster for it.
just dropped down the radar. Gamer, Gerard Butler.
Even I couldn't get through that. Sorry,
Oh,
John.
really?
I haven't seen it. It sounds interesting. But
Yeah. Well,
Review all that gamers? Hell yeah, dude.
we have Thomas and Friends, Hero of the Rails. Classic. 9, that
That's my
animated
recommendation.
film with Elijah Wood.
Oh,
Which I always thought was like really weird. Don't think I've seen it all the way through, but strange film.
yeah.
We also have a lot of movies that I don't remember here. Mr. Nobody, which is a really cool movie with Jared Leto, which is about this guy that like he's the last human to ever die because they like cured aging, and so he's reflecting on his life. It's a really good movie. Then there's Another Cinderella Story, which is the Selena Gomez sequel to the Hilary Duff one, I think, which was Cinderella Story or something.
Say no more.
Yeah, Say No More. The Other Woman, which was a Natalie Portman, Lisa Kudrow movie.
Oh.
Weird. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
That was
Classics,
fun.
here we
That
go.
was fun.
Absolute classic. Phil Lord and Chris Miller kicking off their career. Bill Hader plays the main guy in that movie. Wow, I had no idea. Very cool. The Informant with an exclamation mark. That Matt Damon movie.
I think you got to say it with the exclamation mark.
The Informant.
Thank
There
you.
you go. Jennifer's Body, which has recently been getting a lot of appreciation as horror has rolled around. A lot of people are saying like it's like one of the best horror movies, and I'm like, really?
Have you guys seen it?
No.
No.
I've seen it. It's not the best horror movie ever.
Damn, well, I'm gonna go home and watch it. It's got J.K. Simmons in it, apparently. And Adam Brody.
Adam Brody.
Love Happens, that Jennifer Aniston, Aaron Eckhart movie, which I remember being like, "Hey mom, it's got Two-Face in it," and she's like, "What do you mean?" Because The Dark Knight had come out recently, and so what happened to Aaron Eckhart? Is he still?
He's in Midway, coming to theaters soon.
Wasn't he in
Give it
those
2020 for us.
the Has Fallen movies?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's the president.
There you go, very cool. Keep kicking, Aaron. We've also got
Aaron's at home like, nice.
Thanks, man.
He's doing
I
nothing
really
else.
needed that.
Fame, I think, was like that musical movie that they did 2009. There's a movie called The Other Man with Liam Neeson and Antonio Banderas. Paranormal Activity #1.
Oh.
Number
Came
one.
out. Yeah.
We'll get
Wow.
into that later.
All this time ago, Surrogates, the Bruce Willis sci-fi movie. If you remember that,
He has a
Bit of like
beard in it. I
Yeah,
remember.
you
That's
go
all I
video
know.
easy, and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
this looks fun. And then just moving through the October releases, The Invention of Lying, which is that Ricky Gervais.
I want to see
movie.
that.
I don't think I've seen it though. A lot of big names in that movie, like a lot. Stephen Merchant, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Tina Fey, Jason Bateman, Rob Lowe, Jonah Hill. Crazy. A Serious Man, which is the Coen Brothers movie. Seen A Serious Man? Good movie. Zombieland, first one.
Oh.
Exactly 10 years
How
old.
fitting.
Weirdly enough. We also have God. This is
God,
crazy.
we have God.
We have God, yes.
He's on the end of the
Law-abiding citizen, another.
Gerard Butler.
that's-
Dude, he's got a back-to-back
that's-
month release.
Yeah,
That's a good movie.
it's a big year for this guy.
Yeah.
There's that. A lot of these movies I don't know. Where the Wild Things Are.
I haven't
Which
seen that.
was a big movie back. I don't know if it made a lot of money, but I remember it being a thing. Astro Boy. Remember they made that Astro Boy movie?
Yeah.
Freddie Highmore. God, I haven't. What the fuck? I haven't thought about this movie since it came out. I'm gonna go watch it. Made no money. Had a $65 million budget. Made $42 million worldwide.
Damn.
Rest in peace, Astro Boy.
Rip Astro Boy.
Yeah, tanked. Then we've got Saw 6. The, like
Okay.
fourth last Saw. We've got Michael Jackson's This Is It, because obviously Michael Jackson had died. And then there was a sequel to the Boondock Saints movie. So the Boondock Saints.
I haven't seen the second. I've
All
seen the
same.
first one though.
There you go. So that was October or September or October of 2009.
Nice.
Moving on to
The headlines.
okay, on to the headlines.
No. It never works. It
All right,
never, it never
graphic.
sounds good.
Let's begin.
All right. So, despite the media's best efforts, the media's least favorite movie has become the most successful R-rated movie of all time. Congratulations,
Yay,
Joker.
It's about to cross $1 billion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
Suddenly all that sequel talk is like sounds way more legit, but I really hope
But
they don't.
I think they will. They're just not saying anything, so it doesn't ruin their like Oscars campaign to sort of
Yeah.
discredit this piece of art.
Makes me so angry. I don't want to see.
Yeah,
What
I reckon they
crazy.
should just do like it's supposed to start the DC Black Banner or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
I hope that they just start doing a heap of just. I hope they do a Mr. Freeze because Mr. Freeze has always been like my favorite villain. So like I hope that they do it.
Freeze.
Okay.
Coming
Well,
to
Yeah, it sounds like a parody, but I would legit watch it.
What is this Black Banner thing?
It's like where they just do their own sort of
spin-off.
spin-off genre things where they don't tie into
It's
each
rumored.
other.
It's not official.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was what they pitched it as.
Yeah.
Joker would be sort of like an Elseworlds. Like,
Yeah.
So for instance, they could do like a what I hope a Michael Keaton Batman Beyond movie or something like that.
See, I would like. I'm so sick of everything being connected. Like I feel like it always holds back the other movies, and so that's so cool that they're actually finally deciding, hey, maybe the cinematic universe thing doesn't work for everyone. Let's just do our own thing.
Yeah.
And they just do weird shit.
Yeah.
So keen.
So yeah, next up. So we got our final look at Rise of Skywalker in the last trailer. So
Yeah, what do you all think?
Did I watch it? Yeah, I did watch it. Well,
go.
okay. Well, I watched it with Declan, and all I heard was him going like, "Yay!" No, it was cool. It was cool. I've definitely more excited for it than I was before, but still, that's not a lot. Like, I'm definitely looking forward to the movie, but
It just looks epic. All those shots in it. Star Destroyers and the horses on Star Destroyers and JJ, don't let me down.
So obviously I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I did this every time because they always release the last trailer during a football game. So I go to this place on Reddit where you can stream the TV channel live, the NFL games, and then I watched the whole NFL game in the lead up to. I do this all the time. It's a tradition. And so then the trailer plays and I'm losing my mind, but for some reason I wasn't quite as hyped as I was for the last two, and I think it's just because I've already done it twice, and now it's the third time. I'm like, look, it's the last movie. We know basically where it's going to end. There will be some surprises for sure, but it's a third movie in a trilogy.
And it's J.J. Abrams.
And it's J.J. Abrams, and we've done this before. You know what I mean? 3 times for Star Wars now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the hype is a little bit less, but whenever there's a shot of Lando just in that Falcon, just going I just this makes me so happy.
No Dark Ray in this trailer though, so that was.
It's because Dark Ray is a vision, guys. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, exciting.
Alright, next up. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have been struck with karma from Game of Thrones, and they're not doing Star Wars anymore. The Star Wars trilogy has been canned.
The best part is all the comments ever are just yes! You know? And I'm like, oh, it's gonna suck to be them reading.
Yeah.
I don't even piss on my Star Wars.
I don't blame them, all the hate they got for Game of Thrones, and now they want to
Well deserved.
Well deserved hate, but at the same time,
no, fuck them.
Yeah, alright.
No, I don't hate them that
We'll
much.
just
but
leave
they
it at
made
that.
6 good seasons of a show.
But that's because they had books.
Yeah, with George's content.
They
Yeah.
made Origins, dude. Wait, did they write
Yeah,
Origins?
they
Yeah.
did. Or David Benioff
Yeah.
did Origins and
Gemini
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Get these guys out of here. Go make your Netflix.
He's got a win in my book.
Yeah. I think I was keen for this because someone else will jump in and do it, but they'd pitched
Origins of the Jedi.
yeah, and I feel like they'll end up doing a Knights of the Republic style franchise, but I'm sure we'll get it and then it'll be better.
Do you reckon we'll get Ryan Johnson's trilogy now instead?
I think he will come back to it just because
Kathleen's desperate for movies now because the only movie that's kind of official now is Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie.
That's weird. That's really weird.
So does he only have one movie? Does he have a whole trilogy?
That's one, isn't it? Yeah.
Good.
Kevin Feige. Yeah.
He's in
We'll
it.
see. 2022, I think, is the next date.
Kevin
So
Feige as a Jedi.
they got time.
Kevin Feige's Star Wars.
Alright, next up, Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin and Andy Serkis is playing Alfred.
Is this confirmed?
It's not confirmed. I think Colin Farrell's more confirmed. Andy
Okay.
Serkis is still.
Yeah, what the fuck? This is weird. This is a weird cast coming together.
But I like it. It's
This movie just keeps getting better and better. I'm so-
Like Colin Farrell is the Penguin? What? I kind of get it. But yeah, total left turn. Yeah, I just didn't see that coming.
I'm keen for Andy Serkis as Alfred.
That'd be cool.
Running around going, ooh, no, I'm kidding.
He's gonna be mocap Alfred.
Mocap Al.
He's just gonna be
It's Caesar in a top hat.
Oh, that's funny. No, he's great. And I'm glad he's getting more live action roles
Yeah.
where he's actually playing himself, after Black Panther and stuff like that. So
I'm curious to see if he'll actually be in it because he's directing Venom 2, which the production of Venom 2 and the Batman overlap. So it's the poor guy.
I hope Venom 2
the
gets
sixth
shot.
busiest man
Sixth
in Hollywood.
no, not really
No.
though. He's just making
He's-
probably 3 scenes in the Batman and
True. Yeah.
But yeah, let's real quick. Let's rank the Alfreds. I think Michael Caine, best Alfred.
I
Jeremy
really like
Irons was pretty good.
It's pretty
He
good.
was
Alfred.
alright.
Didn't have much to do though.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's kind of cool.
He could have been.
I miss the
Yeah.
OG Alfred
Michael.
from the 4 Batman movies.
Michael Goff.
Michael
Goff.
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 Goff. Yeah.
Goff. Goff.
Yeah, Goff.
Goff.
Mm.
Yeah, he was great.
He was, yeah.
He got his own character arc in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
That's why I probably got
His
Michael
character
Caine
was getting a
King.
disease and it was dumb.
but then they make Batgirl his
yeah.
niece or something.
Yeah, that's right.
They have a whole thing.
I'd probably go Michael Caine, him, then Jeremy Irons.
Aunt Peg.
Agreed.
Yeah, I reckon he's the best one. And then obviously the animated series, whoever did the voice of Alfred, the animated series is cool. So yeah.
What
Oh,
about Alfred?
Alfred from Gotham. He's cool.
Oh yeah, and there's Alfred and Joker. Who's just
he
like,
should
that's right.
definitely
Yeah.
just real angry. He's like, get away from my
Dude,
kid.
Alfred was thick in Joker.
Yeah,
he was so big.
I wanted to kick the shit out of him.
I'm kind of sad it's not Pierce Brosnan, but Andy Serkis is probably the next best thing.
Yeah.
This could be really awesome. This movie's gonna be. I don't want to get my hopes up because it's only casting, but
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson's gonna be amazing.
And it's so what have we got? The Penguin, the Riddler,
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there was a rumor going around that Matthew McConaughey might be playing Two-Face.
Ooh, shit!
This is-
Alright.
What?
Now I'm kind of scared that this movie's just gonna be super bloated.
Like Amazing
Yeah, well, they
Spider-Man
said
2.
that they were trying to cast them all for this, and then like they'd
Yeah,
have
it's
them
like
filter
trilogy,
it.
yeah.
The rest of
Ah.
the movies. But then, how does this work with the DC? Because clearly, it's not the same DCEU. So they're doing this huge world building. We're gonna have just like two different worlds now.
I
Like,
guess.
it's just kind of dumb. I feel like they'll just have to do a big Flashpoint movie eventually and just combine everything.
We'll just restart.
Yeah,
Mm.
or like the next like Justice League movie, they all die. or we just kill the DCEU because please make it stop.
Yeah, it's strange, very strange.
Mm.
All right, what's next?
Alright, next up, Spider-Verse 2 gets an April 2022 release date.
Hell yeah.
Which is the Miles Morales centered sequel.
Mm.
So very exciting.
Very keen.
Hopefully they still bring back Peter B. Parker, but remains to be seen.
Mm.
Yeah.
First one's amazing. So.
Yeah, really good.
Was that 2017?
No, that was last year.
December of
Okay.
2018, yeah.
So 4 years later, or 3.5, seeing its release, because the Spider-Verse 1 came out in December,
Yeah.
and they're really changing up by releasing it in April.
Mm.
So
Mm.
hopefully that'll make it do better at the box office.
Hopefully.
And there's still the other spin-off coming first, right? The with
I don't know if it's coming first,
Gwen
because it
and
hasn't,
Silk.
it hasn't been dated. So
Okay, we'll see what happens. Cool. Alrighty,
I guess.
Yeah.
that's the end of headline stealers. Next up is
the big small news.
graphic. Boom.
Start off with Marvel Studios might cancel the Hawkeye Disney Plus series after Jeremy Renner got in a bit of a custody dispute over his daughter with his ex-wife.
Let's redo
And it's all
that.
public.
Jeremy Renner is a fucking cokehead who wants to kill himself.
Apparently.
Allegedly.
No one's favorite actor is apparently completely crazy.
Look, if you read the thing that he talks about how his wife's actually crazy and was making a list of.
Well, yeah, she was saying that he threatened to kill himself and kill her, and he did drugs while their daughter was home, and he shot a gun inside their house or whatever. But then he says,
Then everyone disintegrated. He had no idea.
but then he's like, she's sex obsessed. She does like horrible, like graphic paintings in front of our daughter, which is
Our daughter.
No, like
Well,
their
Oh,
daughter.
okay. Okay, yeah, never mind.
He's in character as Jeremy
Oh,
Renner.
okay,
Okay. Go
I'm
on.
quoting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like-
So it's just like a messy custody dispute, which is annoying to see because they're just throwing allegations at each other, and then with today's culture, like, oh, cancel the Hawkeye show, Jeremy Renner's hot. It's like,
Yeah.
no, whatever. Oh,
I like how they don't wait.
it's just
Like,
Yeah.
the second
It's-
anything comes out, like, oh,
instant
Get rid of
cancel
that.
culture.
It's like guilty until proven
They
innocent.
made the
It's
mistake
like,
with the
isn't it the other way
government,
around?
At least there's the precedent there. Like, let's just wait a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we'll make a decision. Yeah.
So that's annoying. But then there were some rumors recently that they decided to still go ahead with it. So
It's costing them $200 million, so you
Those-
hope that they want to
Those
be
budgets, man.
happy with it.
yeah. Sticking with Marvel, Peyton Reed is returning to direct Ant-Man 3, which begins filming early in 2021 for a possible 2022 release date. I'm keen for an Ant-Man 3. I'm not keen for Peyton Reed directing
Why?
because he did such a shit job with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What? You don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Nah,
It's
It was-
You
shit.
guys don't like Ant-Man and
It's
the
like
Wasp?
bottom
sucks.
tier.
What have I stumbled into here?
Nah,
What?
I don't like it.
Ant-Man 1 was way better. Like the
and
action
then
and
one's
all
been
that.
that good.
Yeah.
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 And he did absolute, like, well, we talk about this with
all-
Far From Home, like John Watts with Homecoming. You could tell, he's really stepping up, and then Far From Home, it's like, now he really knows what he's doing. Whereas Peyton Reed had that chance to step up with his own movie, and he did nothing with it. There was, like, no good action scenes. It was
Everything
a
looked
mediocre
really
story.
bland.
See, I think that movie's actually like fine. I think that movie's actually
I
pretty.
don't know.
decent.
I don't like it. It's so
Uninspired.
forgettable.
Jesus. Okay, I had no idea this was such a controversial.
The only thing
topic.
that was worth
My
anything
God.
in that movie was the mid-credit scene.
Wow.
I
Okay.
don't like
God
anything
damn.
else. They
Oh.
made Ant-Man stupid. That yeah.
Wow. Okay, let me go and watch this.
And I blame Peter Reeve for that. He just.
Wow. Okay.
I wish they got another director. Seeing they like to change things up for the third movies or go bigger, and they're just. He's the out of all those directors.
Why is he
Peter
the only
Reeve
consistent one?
that gets a full trilogy first?
Yeah.
Wait. What?
Disgusting.
No, because oh yeah.
Like James Gunn is getting Guardians 3, but it won't come for a while. John Watts will probably get Spider-Man 3, but that's not confirmed
Thor
yet.
got different.
Well, it was
directors.
2021. They put
So
it on,
Spider-Man
right?
will probably end up having, but that's
know.
if John Watts returns. But
It's not even released.
Yeah. So
Weird. No, I think he's fine. Well, we'll get back to this. I'll watch it and we can have an argument about it.
yeah. But yeah, still sticking with Marvel. The Loki Disney Plus series is just like WandaVision will apparently also tie into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which kind of makes sense seeing that Loki's changing the timelines. Traveling around, so it probably would affect multiverse stuff.
I think this is going to be their next sort of like mini like Thor Ragnarok, where they just have like a whole bunch of characters together.
I'm curious to see if this will be a problem with general audiences having to watch these TV shows to get a better understanding of what's happening in the movies.
I saw an article yesterday. I forgot who said it, but someone from Marvel said, "Oh yeah, all these Disney Plus shows, you have to watch them." To get context with
well, of
these
course they're going to
movies.
say that because they want people to get Disney Plus.
So it's like it's so connected.
I think the point like we're up to like what that'll be like the 30th Marvel movie amongst like 20 TV shows and stuff. So at this point, if you're not in the canon, you know, if you're not following what's going on, like nothing's going to make sense anyway. Like a random audience member can't walk into Multiverse of Madness and be like, okay. You know, because it's gonna be like
I'm keen for this random superhero.
Yeah, it's the sequel to Doctor Strange, and probably involving stuff from the Avengers movies, and the because of Wanda, and then the WandaVision show, and it's just like if you took someone to see Endgame and hadn't seen any other movies, they'd just be like, it's cool, but I don't get it.
Yeah,
I think it's just one of those things.
I feel like for this movie though, like I feel like if you just watch the movies, at least you still know who Loki is. You know who like Wanda and Vision are, like, so maybe you don't have to watch the shows. It would probably one of those things where like it would help, but at least you know who they are. Like Loki shows up, like, oh, I guess he's been doing his own thing this whole time.
No, because of Endgame.
Yeah, obviously I'm speaking out of my ass because I haven't seen any of it, but
moving on, the creator of HBO's Chernobyl, he's writing the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie for Disney. It's been called a reboot by some people, but some people say it's just like a spin-off, or it's set in the world, but it's completely new characters. So
that makes sense. It's an interesting world.
Does Pirates of the Caribbean work without Jack Sparrow?
I think it definitely could.
I've only seen the first one.
I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be strange. I think like all the character archetypes will still be there. So it'll probably just be the same thing, except he's just not called Jack Sparrow. And
it's one of those like, why call it Pirates of the Caribbean? Why not just make Untitled pirate movie?
Because money.
Yeah.
It's just like, which is just kind of annoying. It's like, do your own thing, please. But I guess like if they're not even having Johnny Depp there, they kind of are just doing their own thing.
I'm curious to see how it goes because Chernobyl's so serious and like emotional, and it's like he's doing Pirates of the Caribbean, especially when.
Not 3.6 pirates, it's 15. Yeah, isn't this the guy that wrote The Hangover? He started off doing comedies and then he ended up doing Chernobyl, and he finally
versatile.
It was his first thing.
Originally, the writers of Deadpool and Zombieland were doing this, but then they dropped out. So,
there you go. What's next?
Next up, we've got No Time to Die. The final Daniel Craig James Bond movie is the most expensive Bond movie yet, at $250 million. So that means it's on par with like Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And
Jeez.
I bet like 100 million of that is just going straight to Daniel Craig.
A whole lot of it's on security to keep me away from Rami Malek.
So yeah, I expect a lot from it. Spectre was a bit disappointing. I'm keen.
I watched Spectre again this week. I watched it, and I watched Never Say Never Again, and I watched The World's Not Enough. It was a weird mixture of movies. Yeah. But Spectre is, I think it's shot really well.
I really like Spectre.
And I think it's acted really well, but I think it just makes a couple of weird plot decisions in regards to trying to cram the whole Daniel Craig sort of like canon together. And then
Yeah.
Blofeld, I think like Christoph Waltz's like performance is really good. It's just that like the whole thing with the relationship, and it's just the movie kind of falls apart a little bit.
Yeah.
So, it seems like this movie really, they were like, it seemed like with Danny Boyle, they were going to scrap pretty much all of the stuff that happened with him and just do like a sort of a solo standalone movie. Whereas this one seems very much like the end game, where like Lido's back and all of the previous characters are back, and it seems like they're just going to do the really big final.
Pretty exciting.
Everyone comes back.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Speaking of James Bond, Barry Jenkins, the director of Moonlight, apparently wanted to make a Moneypenny spin-off with Naomi Harris at one point, which the studio turned down.
Like, is this like Skyfall Moneypenny where she's in the field? I'd imagine it's just her going to work every day at the office.
Nice.
I don't know.
It goes back into the list of like almost Bond spin-offs. Like they did one for
Haley Berry.
Jinx,
Halle Berry and stuff. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe after, like, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the franchise after this, but
I think they've got Lashana Lynch as a
it's not going to
new
be
007 agent.
No, I reckon they just totally reboot everything and do something like that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds. I can't remember if we talked about this in the last episode or not.
I don't think we did.
Ryan Reynolds is co-starring with John Krasinski in a new comedy film called Imaginary Friends, which Krasinski is directing.
Huh.
So it's an
After A Quiet Place too.
Well, they've already finished it.
Oh, that's wow. That was quick.
When does that come out?
Next year.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
The title's really weirding me out. It sounds like A Quiet Place to what? Like,
that's so true.
like A Quiet Place to
I think
Eat?
it's called A Quiet Place
Part 2? Yeah.
Okay, that's better. Because A Quiet Place 2 would just sound like A Quiet Place to what? Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
A Quieter Place.
Oh no.
A Quiet Places.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds and John Krasinski.
Yeah.
That should be
That'd be really funny together.
should be a fun pairing.
Yeah.
Moving on to, we spoke about Paranormal Activity 1 coming out in 2009. Well,
Oh,
Paranormal
what?
Activity 7 comes out in March 2021.
Wasn't the last one? Wait, was the last one the Ghost Dimension or something like that?
Maybe.
Because wasn't that
Something.
like obviously with all these they say, oh, it's the last one, but
It was Paranormal Activity Part 7,
Yeah.
3D, the final chapter.
Because I remember there was this tagline. It was like, for the first time you'll see the horror or something. I don't know. I don't keep up to it.
ghost dimension.
Yeah.
I think we don't need to say any more about that.
Nope, let's keep
No
going.
one cares.
Roland Emmerich, the director of Independence Day Resurgence, says he wishes he hadn't made it after Will Smith exited the film to do Suicide Squad instead. I think everyone wishes he hadn't made that movie, but
Yeah,
I
but you can't.
hope he wishes that he hadn't made a lot of things.
Yeah.
2012.
You can't even also. You
No,
can't.
how dare you? 2012 is incredible.
Did he blame it sort of on Will Smith not coming
He
back?
didn't blame Will Smith. He was
But
just
it was a factor.
He was just like, we had a really good script with Will Smith in it, and then I had to just quickly write another one, and I shouldn't have made it because it was never going to be as good type thing.
As the already cinematic masterpiece, it was the first one.
Yeah, there's probably like studio pressure. Like, look, we've already spent like $20 million to get this ready. You
Yeah.
just have to finish it now, and you're just like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking of sequels that we probably don't need, Fantastic Beasts 3 cast has been confirmed. Eddie Redmayne, Catherine Waterston, Johnny Depp, Jude Law, all of them are returning.
Ezra.
Ezra.
Yeah.
And it'll be set in Brazil this time. So the last one was set in Paris.
Oh,
The one before that was set in America.
New York.
New York.
Ooh.
And filming begins early next year for a 2021 release date.
it's guaranteed going to be a fight on the Jesus statue.
I hope so.
I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Crimes Against Grindelwald ruined this
That was
series for me.
Well, this movie does have to exist, so then Crimes of Grindelwald has a reason to exist.
Yeah.
Because that movie is all just set up for this one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
hate
yeah,
that movie.
they delayed Fantastic Beasts 3 because they had to. Well, I think they because Grimes Grindelwald didn't do that well at the box office, and they had to
Good.
readjust and sort of.
I hope they just sort of end it with this one.
And like what we were talking about, they got another writer in to help.
Well, they did.
Thank God.
A writer who did all the other Harry Potter movies.
Oh,
except
Cloves? Steve Cloves? Or
Maybe.
was it, because he wrote all of them. So.
All of them except for one.
Which
Order
was,
of the Phoenix or something.
Yeah, no, it was,
Order of the Phoenix.
yeah, you're right, Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah. So I'm glad they got someone else to
Supervise.
Yeah.
Cool. Speaking of more sequels that should
Oh my
exist,
God.
Halloween Kills, the sequel to Halloween 2018, has wrap production, and Halloween Ends, the third film in this soft reboot continuation, will start filming shortly. Yeah.
I forget I've seen the last year's Halloween, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
Movies make me want to be dead. I hate this so much. It makes
Movies
me
make
so
me happy,
angry.
movies make me cry.
At least
Yeah.
they've got good titles.
Do they though? Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends.
Ooh, spooky.
We'll leave it at that. Speed round trailers. The Invisible Man, a remake or a sort of telling of the classic Universal monster story.
shot by your guy's favorite director.
Lee Winnell.
From
Yeah,
Upgrade.
hates Upgrade.
I don't like Upgrade.
I
But
don't hate
anyways,
Upgrade. We're talking about this afterwards.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was in a bad mood. I don't know. Just didn't like it.
No, it just didn't click. No problem.
Yeah, looks really good.
Looks cool,
Yeah.
spooky. Soul, a new Pixar movie. Got
That
a
looks
trailer.
good.
That looks
I'm really looking forward to that.
probably make us cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad Boys for Life got a new trailer. This looks really funny.
Was
Like,
there
I'm-
more? Is it who's in it? Vanessa Hudgens or something? Is
There's
she-
more of the
Like,
team,
yeah.
like the three young
So
fellas.
were they in this trailer more?
Yeah.
Okay.
They give a reason as to why they're in this trailer.
Right.
So yeah,
But yeah.
looks
It
fun.
looks- My favourite part is at the end of the trailer where
One Lawrence.
his body falls on Martin Lawrence's car and he's like, I need to call my wife. She knows, she somehow knows, and he's like freaking out. It's hilarious. Anyway, watch the trailer. The Mandalorian got a new trailer
Yeah, it did.
That's cool.
Comes out in like 5 days, guys.
for America.
Yeah, we gotta wait.
We got a week and 5 days. Bloodshot,
This looks so
starring Vin
funny.
Diesel.
Oh gosh.
So is this
Like actually funny or like
No, I mean
bad?
it looks laughable.
What, I haven't
Okay.
seen it. What is it? Explain to me, Bloodshot.
It's based on a comic book. Vin Diesel's like a genetically enhanced super
Of
soul.
course.
He already is.
And it's like if he gets shot, like his body's like nanos sort of apart.
It
Alright,
forms
so
back.
is
Oh,
this
man.
in the Vin Diesel tier? Obviously, top of the list is Fast and Furious.
They
right?
obviously spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
Like, it
Right.
looks cool.
It looks reasonably well done.
Well, bottom of the list is like The Last Witch Hunter or whatever that
Looks-
movie was, right?
looks
And then
better
you've
than
got in the middle like,
Like Triple
so
X.
Triple X and Riddick, right?
Yeah.
So like whereabouts does this look like? it's gonna
Same
fall?
as like
On the Guardians is probably the top.
Oh.
So then like whereabouts in the middle?
Yeah,
It's a
Triple
long
X.
line for
Riddick. I don't like Triple X, so I'd say Riddick is like better than Triple X. So I'd go
Okay.
Riddick
Yeah.
vibe.
Riddick levels? You reckon
Yeah.
it's gonna be as good as Riddick? All right.
New trailer for Jumanji.
Looks fun.
Looks fun.
I really like the second. Yeah, the second one. So
And his movies are the future, but the Witcher trailer got a lot of attention from fans of the game. Heath,
I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing.
Harry, do you play the game?
No, I've never played.
And
it.
I've read some of the books.
Wow.
So, apparently, that looks
Deep in
really
it.
good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
looks really
Moving
fun.
on to
Well-
topic of the month.
Topic of the month. All right, so we're going a bit long, so we're going to go through this fairly quickly. But since we've had the final Stephen King theatrical release of the year with Dr. Sleep, I wanted to sort of do a quick little discussion about Stephen King's movies because as much as he's sort of become one of the biggest authors in the world, he's also become one of the biggest not filmmakers but inspirations for films. Every year now. Really since it, and even before then, but it that really kicked off this sort of Stephen King craze, where basically, as even before his books come out now, they're being bought by companies to make into stuff. So for instance, his latest book was The Institute, and before it even came out, it's already being turned into a TV series and stuff like that. And then next year we have The Outsider TV show on HBO, which is an incredible book. But if you haven't read the book, definitely watch the show because if it's as good as the book is, it's going to be awesome. They're redoing The Stand for what is it like CBS All Access, I think. The Stand's one of the best books, 100%, and then they also did The Stand in the 90s. They did a miniseries, and then I think there's heaps. There's Lassie stories that J.J. Abrams is doing. So we're gonna have years and years and years of Stephen King stuff where everything he's ever written is going to be remade, and then stuff that he hasn't written yet is going to be made, and it's just going to go crazy. And even now, like in the tall grass. So stuff that like his son has written is also becoming big, like Horns, stuff like that. Those were movies back in the day. Nosferatu is another book that his son wrote that's now a TV show. So it just seems like if you're connected to Stephen King at all, it's movie gold. But some of it isn't. Some of the stuff that has been created from his works is terrible. And there's even a movie that Stephen King directed himself. So I just wanted to get your guys' sort of thoughts on some of your favorite Stephen King adaptations, and then if you've seen some that are bad, what do you think could have been?
Well, I think obviously the best one would be The Shawshank Redemption.
There we go.
That's just I didn't even realize it was a Stephen King adaptation until
Most people don't. Stephen King tells this amazing story where one time he was at a book signing, and this like old like woman was with her like daughter or something, or like her granddaughter or something, and the kid was getting a book signed, and then the old lady was like, "Why can't you just write something nice like The Shawshank Redemption?" You know, and he's just sitting there laughing his ass off because he did write The Shawshank Redemption.
But yeah, like that is just a fantastic film. The Green Mile as well. That's almost as good as Shawshank Redemption. The Shining. Yeah, love that.
Awesome.
Which we talked about before. The first It. That was had fun with that. But then there's also bad ones like The Dark Tower. And
have you guys all seen The Dark Tower?
I fell asleep through it.
It
It was so bad.
Or Pet Sematary starring Jason Clarke.
Have you seen it?
I got through half of
watched
it.
bits of it.
Was it not good? I heard it was actually alright.
I heard it was decent.
I didn't enjoy it.
It seemed from what I've seen better than the 80s version, because the book is great, and the movie in the 80s is just not. Which is weird how you can have such good source material, and yet the film, which basically uses exactly the same plot and character and dialogue, isn't. It's like weird how. Because I think it's because a lot of his early works are very much centered in characters' heads, and you'll in the span of a chapter, it'll be in the present day, and then they'll be thinking about something they did 10 years ago, and then you just get heaps of backstory, and that's probably why The Shining is a great example of something that he hated the movie version, because it just strips out all of the character, and it's just like Jack Torrance is evil, or it's very straight down the line. But yeah, what about you guys?
Like Declan said, I haven't actually seen that many Stephen King adaptations, but yeah, Shawshank is definitely up there, one of the best movies of all time. The Shining that I just saw yesterday. The first, Dark Tower is just steaming garbage. I hate
Stephen
Garbage.
Stephen's Garbage.
Stephen King and Stephen Garbage. This is Stephen Garbage.
Yeah, nah, screw the Dark Tower. That was terrible.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm not super experienced. I think I'm kind of on the same boat as you. I didn't know Shawshank Redemption was a Stephen King movie till like Monday. And then again I was like, because Declan sent me like a list that you sent him saying all that, and you just said Shawshank.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sounds a lot like Shawshank Redemption. It might just be a different one. And I didn't have that theory confirmed until literally like maybe 2 hours ago when I got here. Wow. And Declan was like, oh yeah, and he put Shawshank Redemption up there. I was like, oh, it is Shawshank Redemption. Okay, so I have seen another Stephen King movie. So obviously, like, Shawshank Redemption's awesome. Shining's a classic. It's awesome. I think the first, it's good, a bit overrated. And I think probably the worst Stephen King movie I've seen, I'm not going to count In the Tall Grass because it sucks so much. Right. So I'm going to count It Too as probably the worst one I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair enough.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those. It suffers. I think a lot of these movies suffer because they are adapting books.
Yeah.
But then, and it's interesting because most of the best ones are based off of short stories. Like The Shawshank Redemption was a short story, Green Mile was a short story, Stand By Me was a short story.
Oh.
And so it's interesting how, like, I guess when they have less material to try and cram into a movie, like Dr. Sleep, great example of, they basically follow the book scene for scene, but it gets a bit, in a movie, you're kind of sitting there like, it's a bit slow paced.
Yeah, like, isn't like the It book like that big?
Yeah. So when they try to cram everything into the movies, it doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
Which is nice that they're doing it in TV now. They seem to be doing more.
Gerald's Game.
Yep, Gerald's Game.
Oh, Gerald's Game is so
And then there was that other Netflix movie, 1920.
1922, short story. Yep. That was okay. It was kind of...
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
It was alright.
It looked cool.
It was alright. One of the best ones people should definitely see if you haven't, which seems to have slid through the radar of our generation, but is one of the best movies of the 90s, is Misery with Kathy Bates. Definitely one of the best suspense movies. You gotta watch that movie. That movie is awesome.
I made a mistake by watching The Dark Tower instead of Misery.
Well, yeah, you did make a mistake there.
What did Stephen King direct?
Yeah, so here's a great story. So Stephen King, people who don't know, basically after the release of, I think, The Stand in 1979, he became this hugely successful author, right? And then he was already sort of an alcoholic, which is why The Shining is basically about him. Like, he is Jack Torrance. And he had a real drinking problem. And then he became super successful and then just did a ridiculous amount of drugs. Like, he was basically on a coke bender for about 10 years between 1979 and 1989.
Like a rock
That's when he wrote. That's
Yes.
when most of his movies are just mental.
And that's where you get it, and that's where you get, like, all this crazy shit. And so he was just on everything. Pretty much everything on the planet. He was fucked up all the time. But then he ended up deciding to make a movie, which became Maximum Overdrive, which is a movie about, I believe, it's kind of supposed to be a comedy horror movie. And it says here, it's based on a short story called Trucks. It's about evil, like, trucks that drive around and kill people.
Can you watch this, please?
It is apparently one of the worst movies ever made. It was nominated for a bunch of the Golden Raspberry Awards. It's just, he says that he himself doesn't even remember making it, and he considers it just one of this low points in his career, and it made him never want to make a movie again. So yeah, it's a very interesting.
We gotta watch this.
Yeah, this has to be seen.
Thing that we have to watch.
Yeah, special episode.
It says here, in a 2002 interview, King said that he was coked out of his mind through all of the production, and he didn't really know what he was doing. So there you go.
Hell
Fascinating
yeah, man.
story.
Oh
there.
my god.
But then obviously he got sober in the 90s, then he got hit by a car.
Oh.
Lovely.
And then since then he totally sort of turned his career around, and his writing style changed a little bit, and he releases like a book a year now, and it's
Nice.
one of the biggest authors ever. But real quick, I want to recommend a couple things, people. Definitely check out Gerald's Game and the Mike Flanagan, like any of his stuff, because they're all very Stephen King inspired. Watch the Castle Rock TV show, the J.J. Abrams one, and tune into The Outsider when it comes out in January, because it's going to be fucking...
And watch Misery, apparently.
And Misery. Yeah. So I'm keen. I feel like we're going to get a bit of King oversaturation, but luckily he's written so many different kinds of things that I think it'll be fun. Last thing, actually, before we move on, I just want to ask, if you see Stephen King on like the poster or something, or you see that it's based on a book by Stephen King, does that influence your decision in regards to watching it?
Maybe makes me want to see it just a tad more, not that much more. It just makes it a bit more interesting, I suppose. It's like it could be seen as Stephen King, but...
Like, do you see the name and you're like, this is going to be scary, or do you think this could go one of two ways? This could be King, or this could be...
Yeah.
Like Dragon probably thought...
I thought Dr. Sleep was going to be super scary. I was like, So went into it expecting way more scares than I got. But yeah, seeing Stephen King's name, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah.
It'd probably make me a bit more interested if I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
I'd say no. Just purely because of like what you said, it could either be Stephen King or Stephen Garbage. It's one of either way.
Yeah.
Like I agree with you on that. Like
Cool.
so I'm like, this could be anything. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, Stephen King, please keep writing, and we'll keep watching.
time for You Need to See This. So the movie that I recommended this month is Nocturnal Animals, which is a 2016 movie directed by Tom Ford, the same guy as the fashion designer. The movie is about a wealthy art gallery owner, played by Amy Adams, and is haunted by her ex-husband's novel, played by Jake Gyllenhaal.
The novel is played by Jake Gyllenhaal.
You're not wrong though.
That's true.
The novel is a violent thriller, and basically this movie has 3 stories in a way. It has the real world, which is Amy Adams reading Jake Gyllenhaal's book. It has the book played out on screen, and it has also the real world, but flashbacks of Amy Adams and Jake Gyllenhaal on their downfall of marriage. So I love this movie. I was on a Jake Gyllenhaal hype train back then, and I still am. Watched Prisoner's Enemy, and then obviously Nightcrawler.
Damn, this is a tough night. I'm just like, oof.
Nightcrawler, Southpaw, and then Nocturnal Animals came out. I was very excited. And I've seen it 3 times, this movie.
Wow.
And Heath saw it yesterday.
We all saw it at some
Well,
point.
you
Have any of you
also-
guys looked at like the book and stuff?
No, I haven't read the
Because
book.
it's interesting. I haven't read it either, but it's
Yeah.
interesting if you look at the changes. Because like the movie ends
Yeah.
ambiguously
Yeah.
to not spoil
Yeah.
it. And so I was like, "Fuck! I want to know what happened." So I went to like a Wikipedia page for the book,
Yeah.
and it does give you some more insight into some of the characters and stuff. Yeah, I haven't read it, so maybe worth a read
Maybe,
if you're a
yeah.
fan. I don't know.
So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on the movie?
It was cool. I think the best thing about it was, well, for me, were the performances. The acting was really good. I really hate Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Which you meant to. Just
Yeah.
gonna put out.
He's
He's not
a
bad
just-
actor.
Yeah.
He's a despicable character. I hate him. I wanted to kill him myself.
Wow.
Same.
I think that the suspense in the movie is the best. Like just mostly within the book. There's just some really great like what would you do in that situation of just like really uncomfortable sort of positions that the characters end up in. And so I think from that perspective it's just really effective. And then it's shot really well as well. Really nicely shot.
Yeah, of all the movies, like of the few movies that I've done, like you need to see this with you guys on the show for, this is the one I think you need to see. I love this movie so much. If you get anything out of this episode, I want it to be like if you've made it this far and if you're still watching, please watch this movie because like I don't want to say anything about it. I don't we got the plot synopsis and that's really all I want because I went into this movie knowing absolutely nothing. I think that made it so much better. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know anything. And I just fell in love with this movie. So if there's anything you take from this, please watch this movie because it is amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. Thank you, Dragon.
That's okay.
What about Spectral? That was a good recommendation.
Have you seen Spectral?
I think I tried. I think I watched the trailer after we made so many jokes about it. And so then I watched the trailer and I thought, God.
You're going to get a great shot.
Yeah.
Just like having an aneurysm. So Spectral wasn't terrible, but there's no Nocturnal Animals. That's what I'm saying.
Nocturnal Animals is a really I feel like this is the movie that really lives up to the title of this segment, where it is, you have got to see this movie. At least for the ones I've been here for.
What we should do is we should rank at the end of the year.
Out of all the recommendations.
Okay, we don't need to rub it in.
Yes.
No, I'm not saying. We've all had 2 or 3, right? So it's
we'll just
fair.
have Jaden's Super 8. We'll be like, which episode's that from? Sorry, Jaden.
Sorry, Jaden.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you dropped my skill.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Yeah. You dropped his podcast episode.
Yeah, that's right. We are
An eye for
actually
an
kind
eye.
of even. Well, it was actually Ash dropped it, but...
Dude, under the bus.
Alright. No, it was under Eric's car.
It wasn't. Anyways.
Alright, what's...
Nocturnal Animals. Give it
Yeah,
a watch.
that's it.
It's an amazing movie.
Where can people watch it?
I don't know if it's on any streaming.
It's not streaming anymore.
Nah, so
Well, at least
On DVD, support the industry.
DVD,
Yeah, you can borrow Dragons.
Blu-ray, yeah. come hit me up if you want to borrow the DVD. It's all good.
At Dragon's
At
Home.
JB, it'll probably be like $7.
Yeah, because no one
Should be
no one
$20
watches.
million. It's amazing.
It's an amazing
Yeah,
movie.
worth it.
Thank you, Tom Ford.
Cool.
You make good clothes and good movies.
Making feel
Yeah.
good.
So yeah,
That's going to be the title of the episode. Tom Ford making good clothes and good movies.
so yeah, I think that wraps it up.
Sweet. Oh, I forgot that that's me that does wrap.
Thanks for tuning in to Movies Are the Future, the ultimate film obsessed podcast experience.
That's a close up.
Today we have been.
That's a close up.
I'm so happy.
And a slow mo.
Thanks for tuning in to the 10th episode of Movies Are the Future. If you liked it, please hit the subscribe and like buttons below. That'll really help us out, especially with all of the cool shit that we want to do in 2020. Or you can also check out our other podcasts and shows and film festivals and things at theslopshack.com. You can also now find us at youtube.com/theslopshack. We have our custom URL, so that's very cool. Head over to movies_of_the_future to get all of your latest movie news and review updates daily and sometimes multiple times a day. They'll also be having some cool things coming out on their Instagram soon, which will be interesting. Hopefully there's a sneeze compilation or something to that effect.
There will be now.
There will be now. Yeah, make sure to listen to us if you don't want to see our faces, or if you're listening to us now, come see our faces on YouTube. But we're on every audio platform and stuff like that. We'll be back in about a month with our Christmas-themed episode, and then we'll be rolling into 2020, so keep sticking around. Thank you very much. Any last final thoughts? Heath, thank you.
I was going to say thanks for having me. I
Thank
always
you.
love coming along. I'm a bit of a fuck up, but it's all good.
Remember the best, the biggest thirst comment for Heath in the comment section below gets a date with Heath.
Yeah.
Look at you, Ash.
Yeah, you know who it's gonna be.
So make sure to jump into there, and till next time, I don't know about you.
I'm thirsty as fuck.
I finished mine for the first time.
Imagine
Oh
if
my
I-
gosh.
It's because it's fucking chocolate milk.
While I had
Yeah.
water in my mouth, I sneezed and it came out my nose.
Yeah, I didn't drink mine
Wow.
because remnants of Harry's sneeze probably went onto it.
Oh, fuck
You guys.